Each journey is different. Each journey is unique. I knew that the ride to Nordkap would be different to all the rides I experienced before. That it would come with its unique challenges. But I didn't expect one of the challenges being pouring rain. Join the journey from Denmark to Norway, from the port of Stavanger to Norway's touristic epicenter Bergen. We had to say goodbye to Eckernförde because our ferry was about to leave in the evening of that day. And we still had to cross one border and drive 425 kilometers to Hirtshals in the far north of Denmark, where the ferry to Stavanger in Norway would depart from. We are approaching the border. I'm actually quite curious how this border control will be, because all the countries here just really opened a few days ago, and many countries are as well not allowed to cross into Denmark yet. But me as a German, I can go, and it will be interesting how the controls are. The borders just opened a few days ago, but there was no need to wear a face mask, and the border procedure was just a formality. Off we are, our first kilometers here in Denmark. We're going to Hirtshals. I guess I will not film that much and rather save the space for later, because we're only taking the boring main highway now. In Denmark now, and this is typical Danish. It's called wienerbrød. Not so bad. Wow, I'm actually super surprised. Hirtshals, I always thought it's like an ugly industrial port, but its surrounding is actually quite pretty. I mean, look at that ocean view here by driving. Pretty nice. Who could foresee the fall? Maybe it's time to... Hirtshals is a town and seaport at the top of the Jutland Peninsula in northern Denmark. There is a scenic dune landscape with white sand in Hirtshals. And the campground, next to the lighthouse, is very pretty. If you bring more time than us, stay over for a night and watch the ferries arriving and departing behind the golden dunes. Hirtshals is not only famous for its ferries, but as well for its fishing. So we had a proper dinner before entering our ferry. Little dinner before going on the ferry. So ready for the ferry, passport, cabin card, ready to go. Just for your information, I am super seasick. So I took some strong medication, had a glass of wine, and was ready to fall asleep.
What do we have?
Life on a ferry. Good morning, we're on the ferry still. It's 5:30, so super early. It's still light outside. Here on the side is Norway, and we're going to the town Stavanger now. And from Stavanger we're going to Bergen, and hopefully this nasty weather will stop. We are exiting the ferry now, and actually from all the motorcyclists that you can see here behind me, we're the only ones to go off at Stavanger. All the other people ride the ferry to Bergen. At 6 a.m. we got off the ferry to finally explore Norway. Norway, the country of midnight sun and epic cliffs, of rugged mountain peaks and beautiful winding roads, and the country of rain. Finally off that hell of a ferry, and we're in Norway now. And it's unfortunately terrible weather, but the plan is to go to Lysebotn, which is a very famous hairpin road at the end of a fjord. So that will be a nice ride and a nice first impression of Norway, hopefully. Little did we know that we would never make it to Lysebotn. So I have actually no clue in which direction we're driving at the moment. We have already missed several turns, and I think it's because my travel partner here wants to look for a place to have breakfast first, and he's trying to navigate us, which is mostly not the best idea, because honestly guys, I think I'm a much better navigator than he is. But hey, maybe here that looks like a gas station and maybe some breakfast. Oh yeah, it's closed, huh? I started to get impatient and very hangry. So my travel partner decided to let me drive first, because I meanwhile was doubting his skills to navigate us to a proper breakfast place. Of course, I didn't do much better myself. I missed one turn to Lysebotn because it rained so much and ended up in a tunnel going to the completely wrong direction. So where the hell are we? There are like 1,000 ferries here on top, and I have no clue where to go, and I don't even know where the road to Lysebotn is anymore. I think it's in the complete different direction than we went to, and it is raining so super much. After regaining our orientation, we decided to just take the next ferry in the hope of finally finding some breakfast and escaping the rain instead of going to Lysebotn. But it says like Til Salong. Maybe Salong is a cafe.
I have no cash.
Euros.
It might be in my jeans.
There was no food to be found on the ferry, and the ferry ride was a total of 2 hours. We were on another ferry for the last 1.5 hours. Actually, that was not where we planned. The navigation system took us to a little island, and then we had to take the ferry. It's not so bad because it's rainy outside anyways. And now we're landing in Nedstad. At least we had enough time to replan our route and decided to drive by the city Haugesund and head to Bergen afterwards. But our main goal was finding a nice cafe to finally have some breakfast. Wow, it's so terrible bad weather. I have really not been in rain like this since forever. And well, I'm so hungry, I'm starving. We have been up since 5 and now it's 10 and nowhere is a cafe, only rain.
I'm not wasting another minute. If it goes up in flames, I'll take the pain.
At least here I think there's a supermarket and I think I'm just gonna stop now. I don't wanna drive anymore, I want something to eat and hopefully we can have a little breakfast.
I'm all done playing the waiting game.
First romantic breakfast in Norway in the waiting room of the ferry because it rains so strong outside. On our way to Bergen, we drove through the city Haugesund, which is called the homeland of the Viking kings. When Norway as a state was still at its very beginning, the Vikings inhabited this area and it's where the Viking kings had their royal seats. On the way to Bergen and it finally stopped to rain, and as far as I can see I think there's still 2 more ferries because we want to drive over the island Tisnes, or it's called something like Tisnesøy. I think I have some real problems with pronouncing Norwegian names. It is said that Tysnes is the only place in Norway that is named after the god Tyr, the god of war and victory. And we celebrated our first victory too, realizing how beautiful the roads of Norway can be when the rain finally stops. Norway, you really have to take care about not speeding because it's one of the most expensive countries on earth when it comes to speeding fines. And you see here, there are like speed cameras everywhere and it can be easily 500 or 1,000 euros if you speed. Before going to Bergen, we decided to escape the main road again and do some more little detours and excursions. Oh my god, Bergen is really so pretty! Look at all of these nice little roads here. Bergen was founded in the 11th century. Today the city is a UNESCO World Heritage and it's probably one of the most well-known touristic towns in Norway. Close to the most famous fjords, it's a destination for many Norway travel tours. Up to 10,000 tourists alone from cruise ships sometimes visit Bergen a day. 330 ships and 800,000 tourists a year. 2020 is different though. We were told that now in the high season, due to COVID, there are not even 2,000 tourists a day. And nearly all of them travel overland and not on cruise ships. The famous Bryggen is probably what comes closest to the most famous skyline of Norway. 60 wood houses that were built for Bergen's trading. We were not too sad to say goodbye to Bergen though. Bergen is one of Europe's wettest places. On average, it rains on 239 days of the year. Good morning from Bergen. We have only been here one night. Behind me you see this fantastic, cool Bergen backdrop that you know from all the pictures, but it already started to rain again. So we're gonna start another day of riding in the rain. Great that you are joining this journey. If you want to be part of the upcoming ride, subscribe this channel and comment and like this episode. Our next trip will take us over remote Norwegian islands and to Balestrand, a fjord village with cultural treasures and an artsy history.